Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Crisis169 coming to you with another upload of my channel here. And once again, thank you for watching my channel or stopping by. If you don't mind, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that bell. If you know my video comes up, you can do full notifications or partial, or just subscribe. And if you want to subscribe and notify later on, it's cool. Either way, I appreciate you guys this time. First up here in the list today is the 4090 or the 40 series. Is it worth the upgrade right now, or should you wait? With the landscape right now going on, with the taxes and money and jobs, uncertainty of a lot of things, graphics cards are becoming more and more fluid to find. You can find them more. You can go to local Best Buy and you get a better chance of finding a 3060, Ti, 6700 XT, so on and so on. You can find a 1030 and a 1070 in a Best Buy. In most cases, probably something like maybe Micro City, if you have one near your area. I do not. But that being said, though, should you just rush on out there and go buy a new 40 series card? Well, you can, but there's a lot of buts there. The biggest but being your case. Your case has to fit it. Mine probably could if I take the glass out and put it on there, maybe, because I've seen the 40 series cards. Jay's 2 cents talked about them. A medium-sized case will not fit a 40 series card. A 3090 Ti will fit perfectly in my case. It'd be bigger than my 3070, yes, by far. About probably maybe 2 inches longer. Hopefully not as wide, but my 3070, like I said, no, gets the job done. I came from a 2060 non-overclock 6 gigabyte to an 8 gigabyte 3070. So obviously, my graphic improvement is a quite big jump. Now, will going to 3070 or 90 Ti be better? Of course. But you also have to put in consideration the price. The card I'm talking about, the 30 series card, 3090s, are in fact getting cheaper. Are getting cheaper and cheaper. With top tier cards, 3090 Ti, 3090, 3080 Ti, 3080s, and even 3070s and 3070 Ti's, it can still be a little overpriced. My 3770, my family got me, was on a deal, like 5 something. It was a trio card, 3 fans, so it's a lot more power. I will do a review on my 3070 here probably in the next couple weeks, just to get an idea. You got an idea what to expect from it. Power wise, they had to change out the PCIe slot from the dual to the single one to the dual. They had to have 2 of them because I'm gonna overclock and I got 10% right now. The clock right now is the same. So I'm seeing what the thing can do. Now, I'll remind you, I only have a 75 Hz 1080p monitor, 27-inch curve. So results will vary between different cards you buy. I have pretty good performance on a 2060 non-overclock, non-super. But games, it will show its age, best in Shadow of Tomb Raider, Battlefront 2042, Battlefront 5, games like that, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, the remaster or remake, I'm gonna call it, reboot, I'm gonna call it. Games like this will require more and more from your card. So you'll have to understand that. But the biggest thing is outside the case for the 40 series is power consumption. That they think that those are going to do. They're saying 500 watts is probably a minimum for the 4090s. There's no 4090 Ti's. So 4080, 4070s, and maybe in 4060s, and maybe in 4070, or even a 4030 could become out. Maybe they may stretch this out as much as they can, because with 30 tier series, with 30 tier, you remember the 36, the 3050s didn't come out until they hit laptops. You could buy some 30s, 50s graphics cards for your desktops, but TI would be better. Now, I think right now, if you can buy a 30 series card, 3060 and above is best video. If you're gambling, man, if you put money on, I would go probably 3060 Ti and higher. Because after you get 3060, you're kind of the 2060 of the 30 series cards. Yes, you're 12 gigabytes of VRAM, but the power consumption's not there. You have a lot more VRAM, but you don't have a lot more on the hood than that. That's why I call the 20 series of the 30 series cards. It's a good card. I got friends who have them and they love them. You'll play a lot of the games on it. Trust me, games are plenty. But you'll also have to understand too that a lot of the games you're playing, you're meeting the recommended requirement. Eventually, graphics cards like mine will be the recommended requirement, and after that, the sky's the limit. Because that's what it's going to be. And for example, Far Cry 6 requires 2070 Super or greater. I had 2060. I played it on medium settings. It looked good. 37 pop with 3070 in there. Turn on. It looks great. So it just depends on graphics cards. But also you can overclock a lot of these cards too as well. So my point is it worth long term buying a 40 series card? If you have the specs for it, the motherboard that will support it, still kind of flaky. They're still kind of flaky on what motherboard is going to be PCIe, because it does support DLSS 2 and 3.0. My card only does DLSS 2. They didn't update to 3. I don't know if they're going to do 3070s or whatever and give that option to them. That means more power consumption on my card. I don't think they're going to do that with 30 series cards, but they could though. With firmware update, they could have had it already locked in and waiting until now to get it unlocked. But why they're going to give you a 3.0 DLSS if they're trying to sell the 40 series cards? See, that makes no sense to me up there. Up here, it makes no sense up here to me. Why are they going to give it's like, they gave DLSS option 2 to 20 series cards, 2.0 to 20 series cards. They just gave it to them maybe about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So why are you going to give them that to them? And realizing that yes, they gave it to you, but you really can't utilize it in a way that you can utilize with a 3060 series plus onward, because you have more power on the hood, so to speak, power on the hood. And that being said, though, is it terrible to upgrade? No. Upgrading is not terrible. But if you do need a new case, chances are you're going to need a new motherboard, newer RAM probably, a newer power supply obviously. So you're going back in to the wallet and pulling out, let's say, they're $2,000 to $3,000. That right there is, I think, one of the biggest problems would be with a lot of people. I know I got this cool. I have a great setup, great setup with the mesh wiring here for the fans and the glass so I can see. And I could have I could buy a mesh side for the airflow, better off. But it's tempered glass or whatever, right? And it looks great. RGB looks great. The whole thing is RGB, including the motherboard and the graphics card now. My 2060 didn't have that. And my RAM sticks are upgraded to 32 gigabytes of RAM, and they have That being said, though, me personally, if you wanted to upgrade your to a 40 series card, take your time with it. They're going to be around for a while, folks, because Nvidia, no, these things are not flying off store shelves. You cannot spend $1,500 just like that. Yeah, people spend $2,000 on a PS5 and that bag of rocks for it. A lot of people hesitant to go out there and go spend $2,000, $1,500 on a 4090, not knowing what they're going to get. And that's the problem I think right there is going to be, is not knowing what you're going to get. I think is the underlying theme of the whole show is, yeah, you might be able to run it on your old system, but if you can't afford to upgrade it, your power supply is running on borrowed time, because you're drawing a lot of power off that stuff, and I don't think it'll work anyway if you don't have a good power supply anyway. So with me personally, I'm going to upgrade my CPU and my cooler. For Christmas, I'm going to try to put that on the Christmas list. We have one every year. Thanksgiving, we have one every my family, and we all sit down and sit down. I'm going to ask probably for a Ryzen 7 or a Ryzen 5 5900X or Ryzen 9 or whatever with cooler, with a tower cooler, and that way, if I do decide to go big or go home, I'll have a CPU with more leg room to stretch his legs. But also, I prolong my gaming rig right now. Right now, my 5600X is running great. It came out 2020. It's the 12th gen, so it is top of the line. Still is for a while. People have 5600s and it's running good. 5600Gs is running good. I think 5600X is the best gaming processor, 6-core 12 threads, but for multi you want to go to 58, 5900Xs, 700Xs for 3D stuff. If you want to secure more of a Oculus Rift type of virtual reality thing, yeah, of course go higher, because the more cylinders firing on your hood, the better. And the RAM is pretty much going to be good for a long time. And I have four slots, so I can go 128 gigabytes of RAM, a DDR4. Yeah, DDR4 at 3600 hertz. I have two of those, 32 gigabytes, 3600 hertz. So I got a pretty powerhouse PC here. I'm slowly peeling away the slowness and getting to the meat and potatoes of the situation, and it takes time. But of course, they're saying liquid cool will be required probably for the 4090 series cards, 4090 anyway, because of the overall power and heat of the thing. Then again, you have to go into, do you want to hold liquid tubing, or do you want liquid cool for the CPU? It's going to get expensive, because that liquid cooling stuff will burn and will go, and you'll have to change that regularly. Get that ports up all over your system, your system's dead. Because you can clean it all you want, but stuff soaks into your motherboard, you're pretty much done. So that's just why I went to the air cooled route, not the cool route. I need to get a new stock cooler. My one's running good, but it is going to show its age. If it turns off, the computer turns off. That's the safety your computer has, and that's fine. But in the same sense, there's a lot of variables going through my head that should be going through your head if you're watching this video. A tower cooler, liquid cool. Will a 490 even fit in my rig? Do I have to upgrade the whole system just to do that? If that's the case, then you might want to buy a pre-built that already has a 490 in there. But God help you, buy one from Dell or something like that to overcharge it. So you really have to shop around. I think right now, if you have a 2070, 2080, or 3060, upgrade to a TI 3060 or 3070 3070 Ti, 3070, or 3080 if you have the power, and just sit and wait. You get rid of the 2060, 2070, 2080, upgrade to 36 Ti or above. Slowly, change the CPU out if it's an older CPU. Upgrade the RAM sticks, upgrade the power supply, check it out. Do these things. If you guys know more about computers than I do, you know this. You just want to see that 4090 shiny little thing over there, you want to go buy it. Well, you can go buy it, but if your case ain't big enough, it ain't gonna matter. Well, unless you're gonna, rip half your case out just to get it in there. Then you can't stand it up because it ain't gonna fit standing up either. So you have a lot of things to worry about, and more than I do. I have a little metal bar on mine to keep mine from bending the PCI slot, the slot there. But it does work great. My sister did a great job. Fanny bought me a great CPU, Gym GPU. It runs perfectly. So I'm happy where I'm at right now. I wanted to get out of the 20 series because I knew that was going to be a lame duck eventually. That rig cost $2,700 because of the GPU 2060 being about $700 back then. Now you can get probably for almost $100, $200. I bought mine about 2 years ago because I wanted to get a gaming rig, and during the pandemic and all the problems going on in the world. So, but I got the money. I had the money. I spent it. My brother-in-law built it. My sister, his wife, my sister. His wife is my sister, and they both built it for me, and here I am. So I have no complaints about the road I traveled on, because I went 20 series, used the medium RTX on Battlefield 5, saw reflections in the water and during the campaign mode. Awesome, pretty fun, pretty cool to see. Playing games like Resident Evil Village, even better on the 30 series card. Playing Borderlands 3 right now, going to eventually. Once again, great card. So I'm happy for what I have, because I have something that I like to have and it's good. So me personally, this doesn't really concern me, but eventually I would like to upgrade to that. But is it something I do right now? No. A, because it's not finding feasible to me, because I don't have tons of money to spend on it. And B, if I have to upgrade the power supply, if I have to upgrade the power supply, it's going to be not the most costly in the world, but the case can be more costly. My sister's case can probably fit a 49 in her case. Her case is gigantic. She had 1080 in that thing, and an i7 in there. And her case, this thing was liquid cooled. So you go in her room, it's like a damn freaking furnace. Wintertime is great. Summertime it stinks, but whatever, right? Hell, she had window open on, wintertime. It's 12 degrees outside. She had the window open. Her room was so hot. That's just how it goes, right? So, that being said, though, is it a terrible thing? Of course not. It's just not something you have to consider when you're buying this stuff. The same thing was said about the 30 series card. Oh, woe is me, how are we going to do this? And when we're going to find out, it was little of any effort of anybody, really, except for your older guys who had, like, the 1030 series. The 1030s probably had a lot more trouble because you had to upgrade your whole rig just to get the 20s to work. If you came from a 6060 Super or Ti, it ain't much to look at. You should have good enough to 20 series if you're going 20 series route. But going from that 30 series cards will probably be a little bit different. But going from 40 series card would be more. So I say right now, my recommendation is to wait. If you have a 30 series card like I do, a 28 Ti, or if you just bought a 30 series card, wait, use it, play it. It's going to be a couple years till these things start getting, mainstream anyway. You're not going to find 40 series cards at Walmart sitting in the bargain bin or anywhere else. They're going to be out there, folks. They're not going to discontinue these things. And Walmart bargain bin is just what terminology I use for things that are, cheap. Like, they had, you could buy at GameStop. You could buy a 66 Super for $328. People were buying those things and putting them in the rigs. what Jay's 2 cents was. People buy anything to get the rig off the ground. And 66 Super is not a bad card. It's like the 20 series of the 16 series. It was actually a really good card. Now, it didn't have RTX ray tracing, but it had enough power to play a lot of the games you want to play at good 1080p, probably 60 frames, maybe more than that. So if you have these kind of cards, I'm not knocking you. You just have the dealt you've been, you're dealing with the dealt you've been handed. But I'm saying is though, if you can't upgrade to a 30, I would do that right now. Like I said about 4 or 5 months ago, upgrade to 30 series card and get it going, because eventually they're going to stop selling them. And they expect you to buy a 40 series card, and if you don't have enough money to upgrade your 40 series card, you're stuck with your 20 series, or you're stuck with nothing. So I would highly recommend you guys to buy a 30 series card and not worry about the 40 series until you get a new case, or until you get an upgraded CPU, until you get an upgraded a power supply, until you get maybe still your RAM or your motherboard has to do. Because a lot of things, everybody's worrying about the power supply, and that's good to worry about. But I worry about the CPU. I worry about the RAM. I worry about the motherboard. Those things have trouble with this thing. And if it ain't going to work, then what's the point of buying a 500 watt plus power supply if your motherboard don't even know your motherboard can take that kind of wattage? Or if your RAM can process that, help process with the processor with the GPU. You don't have to bottleneck your system, because your GPU is literally just the one carrying the whole thing. Because eventually it's gonna wear out, and you'll wear out a lot of your parts in your computer that way. Of what I've been reading about. So you want to have everything like perfect balance, where everything is. Maybe the CPU is not working as hard as the GPU, and that's fine. You want it to be where it's just there to process. You don't want it where it's spiking. On my 20 series card was spiking my CPU sometimes, because my CPU had to take over the load and carry it. It was very hard for it to do, and I understand that now. Well, guys, this is my video here. I'm wrapping it up here. I'd appreciate you guys watching my video. Once again, I'm a gamertag, Christ169 on the Xbox app, Christ1691 on Steam, and Christ169 on Battle.net. I will probably be getting Call of Duty, but there's a phone number requirement you have to enter in to get it activated. I think it's something that's silly. I'll make a video on that probably Friday or so, go into detail. Friday, Saturday, go into detail what I think about that and how stupid that sounds to me. But with cheating right now going on, I don't know how they're gonna combat this, even though they don't know if they're cheating through prepaid phones or just cheating because they're creating multiple accounts with fake phone numbers, probably, throwaway phones they used to call them. Don't know for sure, and it could be a prepaid phone, so I don't know. I don't know, but I'll make a video on that. I'm gonna do more digging during the week as I'm working at lunch or whatever. Or when I come in to go to work, before I go in, I'll research some stuff. Then Friday I'll have my report. I'll let you guys know what I feel by it, or what I think it's going to come down to later on in the future for gaming, and it is going to do anything at all with cheat or not. Once again, guys, Christ169, peace out. Thank you, guys.